We're here with Eugene Davidovich, and this is almost the last day of the trial. Tomorrow will be the last day of the trial. Eugene, can you tell us what took place in the courtroom Monday, which was yesterday?
Well, yesterday we heard testimony from expert witness Chris Conrad, who actually came down from Oakland, California, or El Cerrito, California, to testify in my trial. Mr. Conrad has testified in over 175 both state and federal cases, as well as has written a number of books and has attended numerous conferences, symposiums, and such on the issue of medical cannabis, and he was able to testify as to what a formal versus informal collective is, how collectives are organized, how they are structured, how the reimbursement amount works in collectives. I believe he did a phenomenal job in educating the jury on the actual law and how things work in California with regards to that law. That was the highlight of yesterday in court.
The prosecution brought in some witnesses today. What effect did you think that had on your case?
Well, today we saw the prosecution, against people's will, drag into court at least 4 individuals who were patient members of the collective that I myself was a patient member of and was operating. These individuals were brought into court in an attempt to get some sort of information out of them as to maybe that they're not patients, or that they didn't receive deliveries from the collective, or I'm not sure which type of testimony she was trying to elicit from these people, but what she ended up eliciting from every single person that went up on the stand was, number one, the fact that they were dragged into this court proceeding against their will by the district attorney, and also the fact that they were in fact qualified patients, members of my collective. Some received distributions of the medicine and provided either a reimbursement or a donation in return for the medicine that they received, or they had called, gotten verified, wanted to find out how the collective was structured, and ended up not receiving a delivery of the actual medicine. So I'm thankful that the prosecution brought out 4 witnesses to testify on my behalf. Really, I think their testimony was really favorable to the law and to exactly how we were structured and operating. In fact, I remember several of the individuals saying that the reason that they had contacted the collective was because they wanted to avoid going to the illicit market to obtain their medicine. They wanted to do things right. They wanted to follow the law, much like I did.
In what way was the prosecution trying to prove your guilt?
I think that the prosecution is trying to prove my guilt in very strange ways. It doesn't make any sense as to what exactly it is that was unlawful in the conduct that I am being charged with. Or I believe that what their position is that all sales are illegal, that in order for a collective to exist and operate legitimately, all members of that collective must participate in the actual gardening of the plants themselves. But People versus Butte County, Erziciano, and a number of other cases state clearly that that is not the case. All members do not have to participate in the cultivation effort. Some can donate their labor, their efforts, materials. Others can contribute financially. And we heard that from the witnesses themselves on the stand today.
Didn't Ms. Fung try to do calculations in the court to try to show that you made a profit?
Yes, she did. She attempted to, through my testimony, elicit how much exactly it is that I paid for the equipment, how much rent was, how much the operating expenses was, what was the reimbursement in return, and how many actual distributions were made, so as to make a comparison of profit versus non-profit. Well, what she ended up doing is proving that I was operating the collective at absolutely no profit, in fact at a significant loss.
Do you think it was ethical to have a police officer posing as a legitimate marijuana patient?
I believe that it was extremely unethical. I think that it is a violation of both the Constitution of the United States, patient rights, and morality in general. This man was paid to lie to a doctor about his conditions, to pretend to be sick, and then, using that premise, he went and joined legitimate collectives in order to take down and overturn Proposition 215, Senate Bill 420, and the law that has been in place and on the books for over 13 years now.
Why do you think that District Attorney Bonnie Dumanis is going after legitimate marijuana patients?
Yes, I do. I believe that Bonnie Dumanis is in fact going after legitimate medical marijuana patients because she believes that Proposition 215 was a guise to legalize marijuana. She does not believe in the Compassionate Use Act, as she clearly has demonstrated with her actions, her raids, and her continued effort to subvert state law. I believe that the whole purpose behind this is to outlaw medical cannabis in San Diego, to overturn state law, and anybody who believes it, who uses it as a medicine, to be put in jail. And that, I believe, is the position of the District Attorney Office. And I think that she has made that clear in court, at my trial, in other cases, and with everything that she has done to patients in San Diego over the last years.
Eugene, would you give me your best calculation, and you could think a little bit about this before you answer this question, but how much money do you think that this has cost the taxpayers of San Diego County?
So, I think it's difficult to put a specific number on it, but if you take into consideration the fact that this is the 10th day of trial, 11th day of trial, where all the jurors are being paid by the taxpayers, the bailiffs are being paid by the taxpayers, the 11 prosecutors that are in the courtroom are receiving a salary to be there for 10 days, 11 days straight now. The investigators who are investigating the case are drawing a salary. If I was to make a best guesstimate, I would say well over $100,000 has been spent on my prosecution by the District Attorney Office, by the District Attorney's Office, and that does not include what has been spent by me on my defense.
Okay, thank you very much, Eugene. Is there anything else that you would like to add?
I would. I'd like to add that, first of all, thank you very much to everyone who has attended these hearings, who has continued to come every day to court, and members of our community who are concerned about what's going on in San Diego. I'd like to ask everybody to visit www.safeaccesssd.org for the latest information.